So I'm here with Tim Brooke-Taylor at Sun and Empire. He's here to do the Sorry I Haven't Got a Clue 2020 tour. Do you want to just talk about what people can expect from this tour?
Well, if you listen to the programme, basically when we do the recordings, we go to theatres and we do two shows basically. First half is an hour and the second half is an hour, but that can be edited. But on tour, the producer says, it's the sort of best of. Some of it's totally ad lib, and some of it is the best jokes or the ones we got away with before.
Yeah.
And on tour with a stage audience, you could be slightly stronger.
Yeah.
Is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But they've been very good so far. The audiences have been fantastic, and I keep thinking, please let it go on. There's a moment I still get nervous getting onto stage. And I look up and I think, please God, let me be funny one more time. And I can hear this voice from above saying, you were never funny.
So when you go to the different venues, do you change the material?
Yes,
depending on where you are?
We do. And the sort of links, etc., especially the ones that Jack Lee does, they're very much for the place you're at. But some of them sort of travel quite well in different places, but it's important to get local references. Yeah.
And is it different doing it in a theatre rather than doing it for the radio? Is there any difference?
Well, not much actually, because when we do it on the radio, this is the song I have to sing along to at the moment. It is different because you're actually playing to the audience in front of you rather than the audience.
Yeah.
Although there is an audience there, and they've chosen to come, but they've got much cheaper prices for us recorded, so you get more.
Yeah, so it must be quite nice having that feedback of
Absolutely.
Live. Yeah.
Absolutely, especially with now in Sunderland, it's a lovely theatre.
Yeah.
And it's a proper Edwardian theatre.
It's got history with it.
Yeah. But it feels better.
Yeah.
Some of them are sort of almost like concert halls.
Yeah.
They're big, but they're a bit frightening.
Yeah, they're too big sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you prefer doing it on the tour, or do you prefer doing it?
I prefer doing it on tour in the fact that I can produce some of my best jokes that I might have done before, but you need both actually.
Yeah.
You need to be fresh and sort of up to date. But each series I start again and think I've got to think of another one of those, a new meaning or a sound charade, and I go through things in my mind. I think, oh no, I've done that. Have I done that?
Yeah.
But it's good because it's refreshing, with an audience when it's up to date.
Yeah, when it's relevant.
Yeah.
And how do you spend time on tour?
Travelling mostly.
Yeah.
It's been all over the country. We sort of started off in Nottingham and then went to Cardiff, Bristol, then to London, and then up to Edinburgh, and it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's been everywhere.
And we're about nearly halfway through. And I think there are 20 venues.
Yeah. Where do you get the energy from
I don't know. Could you tell me if I can? When the electric cars you can plug in? I want one of those.
Just to plug yourself in.
Plug yourself in.
Yeah.
It's the old corny thing of you get the stage energy when there's an audience there, but there is a moment when you suddenly think, oh no, but the audience make all the difference.
Yeah.
And also it's fun. I love a group show where you're bouncing off each other. That's good. Yeah.
After doing it for so long, it's quite nice to hear you say that you still get nervous before going on.
Well, I learned that quite early on when I used to do plays touring the country. Some people got so confident. And then just forget. And what if you're like that? You can't get out of it. If you're like me, who fears what's going to happen the next minute, you're ready for what goes wrong, and then you do something about it. That's my theory.
So you're quite well known for being a goodie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like that kind of comedy show would still be able to go today?
I think it would. It'd be little bits of it would be out of date, but they produced all the episodes on DVD last year, and it's surprising how people would write and say, I just played it to my kids, which age from 7 to 20, and they suddenly got into it. And so it is. When I look at it now, and I'm not sad enough to watch it all the time, I actually think it's better than I remember. That's partly because when you're doing it, there's always something going wrong, or it rains when you're filming, or something like that. So all you can see then are the negatives. Now I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, you look back and you think, I didn't think it would look that good.
No, I didn't. And who is that young man? What is really depressing is when quite old people come up to me and say, do you know, I used to be allowed to stay up to watch you. That's not good.
It must be weird, and then they've got kids that are watching it, like you said.
Yeah. But when they look older than me and they say I was allowed to stay up to watch you,
you think that's got to be wrong.
I'm not going to look in the mirror then.
And how's comedy changed since then?
Well, it changes all the time. When I started, it was a sort of very traditional comedy, which I liked, and you can hear it on Radio 4 Extra. But in the 60s, when we started, everything was a bit different. In music, in fashion and everything, so you were able to try new things. And I think we were lucky to be around when something like colour television came in, just at the right moment. At the moment, I would prefer more comedy programmes on television to have audiences, so that people can actually time the laugh. So I did a sitcom, which was actually very good, and I didn't have the major part, but you just couldn't time anything.
Yeah.
And that was very frustrating.
Yeah. So it is different how comedy can change.
Yeah.
Do it all.
Yeah. Well, what is good is working with the people I'm working with at the moment. We quite a range of ages, and it always used to be Barry Crowell was the older one. Now suddenly as he put it, I'm the last one sitting.
Yeah, looking around and not seeing.
Who are these young people?
How is it working with new people?
It works very well because if they want to come on it, they'll say yes, and they know what it's about, and they know that it's not like a stand-up when you just have to do it yourself. You know that you bounce off each other, and that's really important.
And then you've got the audience there to bounce off as well. So
exactly.
There's a lot going on.
It is, and it's much more fun now. I think, as an audience, I find that more fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But then I would say that.
But then sometimes it is good just to watch a comedian stand up and tell a joke.
There is, but you still want to see...
You want to see interaction and see how
his mate next door saying that's rubbish, what happened
really? So how do you think... Oh, actually, I've already asked that one. What's been your personal career highlight?
That's always quite difficult because there are some things that you particularly like for your own reasons, but it's not been the best for your work. I mean, I did some work early on in bits of film, which have sort of a bit tragic now. I did a film with big names like Orson Welles, but the really sad thing, it was Sharon Tate was the leading lady, and just before she was murdered, which you can see in the ghastly film. So that's not a highlight, but that's one of the things that sticks in my mind. There were bits of the goodies that were definitely highlights. There are also bits of stage shows. Doing a show in London at Fast with Richard O'Sullivan, I really enjoyed it. We sort of worked off each other very well. And again, it's that working with people. So the most successful is the goodies, but what has been extraordinary is how, when we did a pilot for I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, we went to the pub afterwards and we actually swore we'd never do this again because it really was good. And it wasn't that good, but that's 48 years ago. So what bad judgments we were. But,
God, and it's still you're still doing it.
Yes, just.
How did you get started in comedy and acting?
Well, funny enough, I did a bit at school when I had to do something, I forget what reason, and I did a magic trick, and it went very wrong, and the audience were quite sympathetic and tried not to laugh, and then did another trick. This yellow rag is now going to be a Brooke, and it was still a yellow one, and I just got a feeling, let's make the next one look as if I'm getting it wrong on purpose. And I did, and it got a huge laugh, and I thought, oh, I like that.
Get like the audience laughing.
Yes, it's a very good feeling. And I was lucky to be at university with people who, well, I still work with, but who, you know, we were like-minded, and we got into it, and it got us out. I'd never have done it sort of on my own without working with other people. But when you go through the cast list, you're sort of, you lucky beggar.
Yeah, definitely. So TV's changed as well in many different ways. Would reality TV be anything that you'd ever do? Or?
I've been asked to do one or two,
Yeah.
including Strictly and things like that. But if they'd asked me 40 years ago, I might have done it, been fit enough to do it then. It has changed. I think I quite like a lot of, some reality can be terrific because it brings the best out of some people.
Also the worst.
Yeah. Well, I was just looking at the figures the other day for viewing figures, and you know how different it is because there are so many channels now. And my This Is Your Life in 1980, believe it or not, had 90,750,000. And as I pointed out to somebody, it was because it followed a very popular, I think it might be EastEnders episode or whatever. And they suddenly said, well, at least they kept watching.
Didn't turn it off.
No.
Maybe they all fell asleep and it just stayed on.
It could well be that, yeah. Don't tell anybody.
And finally, do you have any other projects coming up?
There are bits and pieces. I'm doing sort of 1 or 2 festivals this year. We started another series of radio shows in March actually as well. And I love doing this tour, but it's very exhausting, and I'll be pleased when it's over. But at the same time, I'll miss it. Because they are terrific audiences.
Is that how every piece of work that you do? Do you can't wait for it to finish and then?
Well, there is an element to that, but there's some that that are easy to do. It's a script that's already written, and you do it each night, and it's a question of timing it. But other things, it's hard work, and I'm not complaining because we're lucky to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But it does think, no, please think of something new.
Yeah.
Oh, you've done that, And, But there are great sort of lines in this show, which one of Jack D's lines is talks about married couples. Well, Tim Brooke-Taylor is proud to have been happily married for 40 years. His wife isn't. And do you call? I'm going to get this wrong now. Would you? At the end, he says about us. Would you call them comedy greats? He says, yes, it does. We all call them comedy greats. And he's some good stuff.
Yeah, but these jokes would only work if views were there. And stuff.
Ideally,
Yeah, and what's your favourite joke?
Well, that changes every 5 minutes actually. And there's one we tell in the show, which is there's a woman going to buy down the street. She has a parrot in the shop. She says, go and she says, I'd like to buy that. How much is it? £20. He said, well, that's pretty reasonable. He said, well, I think I should warn you, this parrot was previously in a brothel and its language isn't very good. She said, I don't mind, takes it home. Takes it into the living room, takes the cover off, and the parrot looks around and says, ooh, new room, very nice. And then calls her daughter and says, ooh, new room, new girls, very nice indeed. She calls her husband in and he said, hello, Keith. That's a good joke. It is. It's not my original.
Yeah.
Stole it
and then reused it.
Yes.
Well, thank you for taking the time to.
It's a pleasure. I hope it works out all right.
Yeah.